From the Reporter, the paper of record for Delaware County, this is Off the Record, a quick look at the latest county news. I'm Andrew Kantor, and this week we've got milk problems at the county fair, tree drama in Delhi, big plans for the Stamford Library, and more. Let's get to it. We'll start with some bad news from the Delaware County Fair. For the first time in more than 15 years, the milk from the fair's working dairy exhibit is going to be dumped. There's no buyer. We're talking gallons of milk straight into the slurry tank. Why? Because the only dairy that's been willing to buy it for the past decade, it's a Mountainside Farm, they backed out this year. And behind it all is a familiar name in Northeast agriculture, the Dairy Farmers of America, DFA. According to Fair Board President Jason Craig, DFA blocks county fair milk being collected unless every producer at the fair is a DFA member. Mountainside used to pick up the slack, but now it's pulled out too. No notice, just gone. Jason Craig, he didn't mince words. He called DFA the quote-unquote milk mafia. Is that fair? Maybe. A few years ago, there was a lawsuit accusing DFA of, well, let's say, not exactly acting in a fair way for dairy farmers. We're talking bullying farmers, suppressing milk prices. The federal government even weighed in against DFA, and the suit was eventually settled quietly. So, milk mafia? Let's say it might be more than just a catchy phrase, at least as far as the Delaware County Fair is concerned. Oh, speaking of dairy drama, Worcester Creameries, which is a longtime buyer for several farms in and around the county, it announced it's going to stop purchasing milk effective June 21st. That means farmers are scrambling to find a new buyer, and so far, no one's saying yes. The rumors are that Worcester's been sold and may shift operations to New Jersey, but nothing's been confirmed. It's just another sign of how hard it's become for small farms to just stay afloat. There are fewer buyers, there's rising trucking costs, and the growing influence of giant co-ops like DFA. It's a sad thing, said one farmer. It never was that way. Walton officials say the problem of a homeless encampment off Prospect Avenue is now, quote, more or less resolved, largely because there's no one left living there. Trustee Eric Northrup, he told the board that the state has reclaimed the land and put up no trespassing signs, and that is the way to address homelessness, make sure the unhoused people have fewer places to live. To their credit, officials did say people can collect any of their remaining belongings without getting arrested for trespassing, which is a thoughtful gesture for the people who just lost the only roof they had, even if it was just tarp and plywood. Those no trespassing signs, Northrop says, they mark the end of a long effort to address residents concerned. And residents meaning the people with houses. The people without homes, it's someone else's problem. Pro tip. Before you cut down a beloved shade tree in, say, Delhi, you should probably tell someone. A decorative maple that had long graced Main Street right outside the Pix and Rachel's Frame Shop, it vanished overnight. Why? It was part of a utility pole replacement project. NYSEG says it was in the way. And residents say, wait, what? Mayor Jeff Gearhart admitted the village had been told about the pole work, but no one mentioned that the tree would be collateral damage. Now it's gone with no warning, no discussion, and no attempt to preserve what a lot of folks thought was part of downtown's charm. NYSEG has promised to replace the tree, but not until all the telecom companies that use the poles finish playing not it when it comes to moving all their wires. Big things are coming to the Stamford Library, and by big, I mean an actual brand new building, custom built and packed with all sorts of cool stuff. Can you tell I like libraries? This library, it's moving from its current little spot on Main Street to a new location at West Main and Lake. The county just gave the okay to clear the land, and once that's done, the fun starts. Picture this, a real children's room with books, obviously, games, and space to sprawl out. Bigger sections for teens and adults, a computer room, cozy reading nooks, even restrooms you can actually turn around in. They're hoping to add coding and robotics programs, maybe even a 3D printer. and there's going to be a community room with its own entrance and a kitchenette so people can host events after hours and then sneak out to a little reading garden. Come on. There's a parking lot, obviously, but this will have bike racks too, and a book drop that doesn't require braving the rain or snow. Now, all this, it's still in the early stages, so there's no official timeline, but the new library is looking like it is going to be an amazing place to visit. Walton is putting together a joint emergency plan to help keep the community safe during power outages and disasters. One big issue they're tackling is communication. Cell service, and I didn't know this, it only lasts about 6 hours during a power outage, and only Verizon is talking about putting backup power sources by their towers. The town is pushing for all 3 major carriers to install generators. More importantly and more locally, the town and the village are working together to make sure there are shelters on both sides of the river, and they're going to be stocked with food and beds, and of course they'll have generators. They're also looking at setting up a low-cost FM radio station just for emergencies. That way, even if the phones go down, people can still tune in for updates on, shelter locations, where they can get clean water, the other essential stuff. The whole goal, get the word out, fill the gaps, and make sure everyone is ready before winter hits. And that's it for this week's Off the Record, but there's plenty more in the Reporter, in print or online. The address is the-reporter.net. This week we've got, what's the giant rooster doing in Fleischmann's? There's a kerfuffle over a potential billboard near Walton, and poor Andy's is still fighting over its parking problems. And there's plenty more. Until next week, I am Andrew Kantor. Thanks for being here.